All right, hello everybody. I'm here to show you today how to get a basic file started in Adobe Photoshop. Right now I'm using Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud. However, you can use older versions because I'm not going to get really too fancy on where everything needs to be. So what I want you to notice over here on this side is the toolbar. Up at the very top, just kind of out of the frame, is the menu. So what I'm going to do today is kind of show you how to use some of the brushes in order to make them change their size, change their color, and so that way you can start drawing or digitally painting in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and start with red. So that way you can kind of see the color a little bit easily. Now as you look here, I start drawing. I'm just using my pad on my iMac, and you can see that the pen is actually very small. Well, if you want to make it larger, there are a couple options. So you come up here to the top, you can make the size a little bit bigger. If you don't like how the edges are looking, you can make the edges harder or you can make them softer. So let me kind of give you an example of that. I'm going to make this pretty big, and then I'm going to make the hardness all the way down to 0. And so you'll see it start looking like this. If I up the hardness, the edges will look like that. So let me give you an example of what that's going to look like. So here I'm drawing, you see how the edges look kind of fuzzy? That is kind of like almost like an airbrush effect. If I want the edges harder, so say for example I'm drawing the edge of a building, then I could pump it all the way up, and then now you can see the edges are nice and hard versus soft like this. Then you can do kind of anything in between. So I'm just going to pick a random number here, 46. Come back, and now you kind of have in between the two. All right, so that's how you change the size of the brush and also the edging of the brush. Now, what I also want to show you is if you want to change the color. If you look over on this side, you'll see that there are swatches. So you can change all the different colors. You can move them up and down. And if you don't think that that's quite big enough, you can double click on the colors here. And now you have a larger color picker. Now by looking at the color picker, you can say, oh, I want green. Or if you say you want to have blue, you just move these sliders up and down. You'll see the hue is to the right. By adding white, you are adding a tint. By adding gray, you're adding tone. And by adding black, you're adding shade. So let's do this. Let's start with the, actually no, let's start with a different color. We're going to go with blue. So we'll click OK. Now here I am adding a blue color. Now let's say I want to create maybe a monochromatic color scheme. Well, okay, we'll make it a little bit darker. Click OK. See how it's starting to get a little bit darker? Double click it again. We can drop it down. Click OK. And then one more time, and then we'll go all the way down here. And so you'll see I have blues, just different values, but all within the same hue. Okay, the intensity is a little bit different. This one is obviously a little bit brighter, and then you have those colors here. And so by using that, I've now shown you how to choose the colors here from the color picker. You can also come over here and pick your color if you're working on something you're like, oh, well, I think I want to go with that red. Click OK, and then now you have that red color back. Again, you can use the swatches on this side, or you can come over here to the left where this is, toggle between two different colors. If you keep using that, you are using the paintbrush, and here you are using the brush, and you can vary the size and the hardness. And that's it for today, how to use the brush, change the color, and change the size.